We have a massive New York Rangers trade update to go over today, as NHL insider Elliotte Friedman has revealed the Rangers' next move, as a trade is now imminent, and Chris Drury is looking to bolster the lineup with the absence of Adam Fox. But this has major implications on not just the roster currently in Adam Fox's absence, but one player in particular's development and how it affects him. We're going to break that all down in this episode of Rangers Digest. But before we get into all of that, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. As we've noticed, about 72% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with the New York Rangers, this is the place to be for all your daily New York Rangers content. So go down below, hit that free subscribe button. But guys, let's get right into it. Let's waste no more time. A trade is on the horizon for the New York Rangers. It seems as if a trade is imminent. And this comes from Elliotte Friedman. This kind of came out of nowhere today, that on 32 Thoughts, he revealed that the New York Rangers are in fact looking for a power play quarterback with the absence of Adam Fox, who looks like he's going to be out for the next 2 months at this point. He may only be returning in early February. So obviously the Rangers have been rocking and rolling since, and things seem to be good, but it seems like Chris Drury thinks that the team needs a power play quarterback. Now, for those of you who've been around on the channel and watched the team religiously, that's a little ridiculous, and I'll get into why in just a second. But one name that Elliotte Friedman has heard is a familiar face to New York Rangers fans, and that is Erik Gustafsson, who right now is in the AHL in the Detroit Red Wings system. And funny enough, and ironically enough, I will actually be, unless he gets traded before tomorrow afternoon, be watching him live tomorrow in the AHL. So I'll get a good idea of what he brings to the table, but we all know what he brings to the table a couple of years ago when he was a New York Ranger. So he's currently playing the AHL, decent for them in the 2023-24 season, of course, with 6 goals, 31 points in 76 games for the New York Rangers. And you can take a look here. This is the direct quote from Elliotte Friedman himself on what's happening. And he said, "I've heard that the Rangers are looking to see if there's something they can find for a power play quarterback. One of the names I've heard is Erik Gustafsson. They know him. Chris Drury, of course, is familiar with him. So could make some sense in that way." Some people are starting to speculate what a trade might look like, because you got to make the money work, right? He makes $2 million against the cap. So, NYR Louis speculating maybe Brennan Othmann for Erik Gustafsson. It's not the best move out there, but Othmann is close to valueless at this point. But, everyone has their own opinions on that. Now, would he help in the immediate? Yeah, absolutely. We know what Erik Gustafsson brings to the table. You can see this from Johnny Lazarus. In 2023-24, when he was on the team, Adam Fox missed 10 games due to injury, and he's going to miss more than 10 games here, but he missed 10 games back then, and the Rangers went 7-2-1. And if you look at the top 5 in scoring during that stretch, look at Erik Gustafsson there, he was top 5 in scoring, 4th, tied for 3rd with Chris Kreider in that span when Adam Fox was out due to injury. So we know that he can put up points. We know that he can play that flawlessly if Adam Fox is out an extended period of time, or it looks like he might actually miss more time than they've been leading on, because it is a pretty, he suffered a separated shoulder at this point. So say that 10 times fast, but he had 11 points in that span. So could make some sense, but again, you're going to have to move some money out. It's $2 million on the books, right? Like, if you want to make this work. But the biggest thing for me in all of this is, if you're going to make this trade, something pretty significant, I think, has to go back to Detroit in this way. And listen, he hasn't, also keep in mind, that was 2 years ago when he was with the Rangers. He hasn't done anything of significance in the NHL this year. He's played 1 game and he was a -1, and he played 17 minutes in that game. Of course, he's getting up to his mid-30s too, so keep that in mind. He's only signed for the rest of this year, so it wouldn't be that bad, like low risk, right? And he would help for the time being. Makes some sense. But the biggest thing for me, to get back to that original tweet, is this doesn't make any sense to me, because you have Scott Morrow now. Like, if this was last year, this would actually make a lot of sense to me. Actually, it would be a great move, I think. And I actually still think, depending on what goes back the other way, this would make a lot of sense. We know what Erik Gustafsson can do in that offensive role if he's put in a position to succeed. But you have Scott Morrow at this point. Everybody's saying it. NYR Louis saying it. If you look on Twitter, Bald Panarin, the biggest pages, right? They're all talking about it today. Insiders are saying the same thing. Like, Scott Morrow is there, and he's actually playing really well now. And it does, again, make sense that Erik Gustafsson could come over, quarterback the power play. In theory, makes a lot of sense, right? I would also argue, I know Mike Sullivan spoke about it and said that, it's not a position of strength for him and he doesn't really see him there. Vladislav Gavrikov has been really good offensively this year. Maybe that's something you could explore. But besides all that, Scott Morrow's with the team. If they make a move like this, Scott Morrow's going back to the AHL. So that tells me that Mike Sullivan doesn't trust them yet. even though he is playing a lot better. You can see the advanced metrics here. Gustafsson would be fine. It does make a lot of sense. You could see that last year. He also wasn't really that bad. He had 18 points in 60 games for Detroit. They missed the playoffs. So, you know, he does what he does. He can put up some serious points and he can quarterback a power play. We know that to be true, but I think with the current circumstances and the cap that you would have to free up, keep in mind there's a couple guys on LTIR with this cap space, so don't take that at face value. They're like in the negative right now. They're going to have to make some moves, of course, when guys come back from injury. So, and by moves, I mean send some guys down to Hartford. But Scott Morrow, if it was a cheap pickup, it makes sense. But then Morrow's going down to the AHL. To me, let Scott Morrow have that opportunity as the power play one quarterback and just try it. And if it doesn't work, then maybe you can pull the trigger on this move. Gustafsson's not going anywhere. He's playing for Grand Rapids right now, right? So if it doesn't work, try it over the course of the next couple of games. You got a big couple of games coming up here, right? Like one of them against Colorado, who just lost in regulation to the Islanders. You have a great opportunity here tomorrow afternoon. So why not try it? I think it could make some sense. You see this from Adam and everyone sharing the same sentiment. After last night in Ottawa, Scott Morrow, we've been talking about him through the summer. I was really excited to see him play. He didn't look that good at the NHL level. They also weren't putting him in a position to succeed. If you start to do that, maybe he's going to take advantage of that and he will start to play well. So, and I feel like that could go for a lot of the young guys who've been traded away with this organization as well. So Scott Morrow was fantastic. I think you give him a shot, but let me know in the comments how you feel about potentially trading for Erik Gustafsson. There is certainly some smoke here now from Elliotte Friedman on 32 Thoughts. He has openly named them and said there is a link there with them knowing him and that this could come down, especially right now because Adam Fox is out due to injury. So let me know how you feel about that. A couple other things to get to before we wrap up today. I mentioned him just a couple minutes ago. Gavrikov has been unbelievable. He has already tied his career high for goals with 6 so far this season. He's been fantastic. We know what he brings defensively, but he's been great offensively as well, which is awesome. So he's going to smash those numbers out of the park. It's only December, so I'm excited to see what he does the rest of the way. I was so ecstatic about that signing in the summer when it was rumored. It was the worst kept secret of all time. We knew he was going to sign like weeks before free agency opened, but I love the signing. He's great defensively, great partner for Adam Fox, especially when he comes back. You know, I'm really excited to see them play again. They've been one of the best defensive pairings in the entire league by the advanced metrics. Really happy about that. Now, if you look at the New York Rangers in their last 6 games, 5-1-0. They're playing some great hockey. Have to give a shout out to Noah Laba as well. He's been phenomenal. So really happy about this. This is from Arthur Staple. Bit of a bend don't break in the back half of this one. Great stuff from Shesterkin, Gavrikov, of course. Schneider's been pretty good with that opportunity as well. But yeah, let me know. All of this to say, you know, without Fox, there's a bit of a challenge. And I think that something has to be done in terms of figuring out what the plan is for the next 2 months. But is it Scott Morrow? I think you have him in the organization. You don't have to make a move. Try that first. If it's really, really, really not working, then yeah, go out and get Gustafsson. I don't think you're going to be paying a heavy price. He's in the AHL, and I don't think he's going anywhere for now. So I think it's an interesting idea, but test with what you have in your own organization right now. And if you do not trust him and Mike Sullivan's not going to play him, make sure he's getting ice time. Make sure he's down there in Hartford getting reps in. And then if that's the case, go out and trade for Erik Gustafsson. That's just how I feel about it. Doesn't really make sense. Try what you have right now with Scott Morrow, but I want to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. Very interesting one. Elliotte Friedman actually coming out and naming a player. And we know Chris Drury would probably make this move. Let's be honest. This sounds like a Chris Drury move. So let me know how you feel in the comments below. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.